Okay guys, we're back. Thank goodness for editing, because this will be my third try at the final phase of the video here. I had to button some of this up a little bit more than I wanted to, because I wanted to show you guys a couple little tricks. But unfortunately, being as how I'm the cameraman and the guy putting this back together, I couldn't quite do that. So I'm going to get in here a little bit. Get this wiring harness out of the side. See that little black thing there? Okay, that's your retainer clip. Because these metal parts that hold together, you'll see these in cars and all sorts of stuff. They don't actually have threads, or you'll notice that there's no nut on the back. So this little clip is what the screw grabs to pull things together. So what you want to do is, before you get to this stage here, is you want to take that little metal clip and you want to get it aligned so that the hole is there, so that when you go to put the screw in, you can get it in the hole. What you can also do is loosely put that screw through the hole and kind of tip it like this or whatever to grab the center of that hole, and then when you push it together, it'll find its way in, and then you can snug it all up. Okay, so now when you snug those up, do not tighten these all the way. Put them both in, or in some cases there's 4 of them, or in some cases there'll also be something in behind here and up in here, or sometimes up on the bottom. So make sure you put everything just kind of snug, but not tight. Because what you want to do is afterwards you want to check for alignment. Okay, so we're looking here, you look at your seams, okay? So you make sure your seam is nice and even. If it's, say for example, was sticking way out at the bottom, then that means I didn't get this in the clip right. If this is higher than this side, if one of these two is higher or lower, or same on the other side, or it's not nice and tight seam here, then you know you're out of alignment. Because you didn't tighten them up, it allows you to wiggle things and get them square and get them lined up right. Now these clips here, to put it back on, happen to be plastic. Some of them are metal. They have like little claws on the bottom, and when you lift up, they'll actually come flying out. So you got to be careful with that. So have a look at your clips, make sure, because sometimes these things can spin around or whatever, so make sure that they're square and they're ready for it to snap back on. Okay, likewise goes with the other side. So we're checking your level, we're level here. We've given it a last eyeball to check that everything is all good, and our belt's in the right spot. You can tell that because of the wear mark on the drum. It's not crooked, everything's fine. Now you'll see this here is a piece of felt. On the underside, in the video that you saw before, there's some people call them gliders. It's some nylon plastic that's on the other side, so that the two together, that there's no friction, so that the drum can spin freely. Likewise here, you'll see these little clips. This is your little nylon thing here, and there's your felt receiver on the door part. What I had to do here, and what you should do as well, is inspect your drum and inspect the receiving end on the chassis as well, to make sure that everything's in place. What I had happen here with the drum is the Teflon or nylon piece here had come loose, and it wasn't all the way snapped in, and if I hadn't been paying attention, I would have snapped it in and it would have fallen apart and whatever. So make sure that everything is in place and ready to go. Now I didn't have one here, but I suggest you either have a helper or bungee cord. They don't seem to work great for what they're designed for, because they always come undone and you lose your load on your vehicle or whatever. But they work great for fixing appliances and stuff like that. They're good safety to secure a top of an appliance so that it doesn't fall down on your head, or in this case here, to hold this drum in place. What happens is the idler pulley rests in the top of the little slots. It doesn't snap right in. It's held in place by the tension of the belt. So once you slide this on, I used a bottle just to prop the drum up level, and then I got in there and I got the belt placed properly in the right configuration, and then I was able to do it like that. But what happens is, if you let this drop or become unlevel or whatever, the pulley's going to go bing, and it's going to pop right out of its place, and you have to pull it out and you start over again. Okay, so normally what you do is, I had to snug everything up, so I've already made sure everything's square. You would open the dryer, look inside, and push down on the fins and give it a spin, and make sure that it spins freely. Okay. And if you can, have a look at the top. You'll hear it if it's grinding or rubbing or it doesn't want to move. Then you have to make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. Now this clip here, or this wiring harness, I left this part here. If you'll notice, there's a little piece right here. Okay, and there's various types of these little clips. Some of them are meant to come apart, some of them are meant to break. You have to be very careful. So inspect this before you take it apart to make sure that you have you're not going to snap it off. Okay, so I'm going to usually do this with two hands. I'm going to do this with one hand if I can. Snap this back into place. Okay, oh, it went in so easy I didn't think I had it in. Okay, now if you look closely, there's that little nip right there. See, there's just a thin wall of plastic here, okay? And this is where the connector goes. So whenever you go to do one of these, check the seam, look for one of these. Sometimes it's going to be like a upside down triangle, sometimes it'll be a little rounded, sometimes it's just a floppy, crappy little piece of plastic that'll snap off real easy. This is not a user serviceable part. If you snap that little piece off there, you got to buy a new wiring harness, or MacGyver something. But when it comes to electricity, I really don't recommend MacGyvering something because you don't want to burn your house down. Okay, so in this case here, or in a lot of cases, what you can do is get the right focus there, is you get your screwdriver underneath and in the crack and very, very gently pry the little piece up so that you can slowly slide it forward just to get it over that hump before you pull on it, because you do not want to pull that little piece off. Okay, so we've got this buttoned up. While I was switching segments, I took the liberty of plugging the dryer in already. So we're all powered up, we're ready to go. We'll close the dryer. In case you guys have never seen this, it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but where do we go here? And there we go. That is how your dryer turns on ice. Now what we're doing here is we're watching and we're listening. Okay, there's no squeaking, there's no rubbing sound, there's no grating sounds, and the drum is fairly round. So what happens if it was oval, or it was kind of like bouncing up and down, or shaking, or squeaking, or rubbing, or anything like that, kill the power right away and have a good look at it. So basically, there we go. The dryer is, I got these lined up right, stop them in, that's it, dryer's running. All I have to do is put the little screws back in here, put the lint trap in, and away we go. One fixed dryer for, I think it was like $45 Canadian. Oh yeah, almost forgot. This is what came out of the dryer. Okay, so if you're American, you're gonna go, what the heck? That's a toonie, that's worth two bucks here. Hey, look at that American quarter. We get a lot of those up here. Everybody loves to come shopping in Canada. But look at all those little pieces of things in there. So that's a good reason. Make sure your pockets are empty before you go in the dryer, because take note, these things are metal. Your dryer runs on electricity. Things can go astray. You don't want to mix metal with electricity or get them jammed in some place they're not supposed to be and break things. This here, my sister-in-law, whose dryer this is, actually happens to have long hair. Look how tight a weave that is. This was around the shaft for one of the rollers at the back. It had just got in there and it just, wrapped around. So what happens with moving parts is, we've all seen the thing where you use a stick to make fire or whatever, and you spin it and it generates heat. Make sure you check all those shafts and all those rollers and take any hair or fluff or anything like that, remove that, because what's going to happen is that's going to build up and it's going to rub and it's going to get hot and it's going to start on fire. Drops in the bottom with all that lint is that we saw earlier, and then next thing you know, you've got a problem. So anyway, so that's everything. We're all done. The dryer is working. We just saved my sister-in-law probably a couple $100. So hope you guys liked the video. Hopefully it was helpful. I think there's comments or whatever when I post this. If anybody actually does watch it, I'll keep an eye on the comments, and if I can add any helpful suggestions to further this, I will. And if this goes well, then I'll show you guys how to fix some other things. Take care. Hope everybody had a great day. Bye. Hey guys, okay, hope this little insert works and makes it into the video to explain a little piece that I left out. Nothing worse than showing a puzzle with a piece missing. When I did the rollers in the back here, as I took them off, we noted in part of the video were these clips here. Okay, we got lucky this time. The kit came with brand new clips. Okay, this is another type of clip here. Some of them look like a little letter C. Some of them look like, you'll see it's got little pieces in there. Okay, and this is designed, it's sort of like a lock washer. It slides right over the end of the shaft. So what we had with the other rollers, it had one of these on. What you have to do when you take them off is you put a flathead screwdriver in the side and you very carefully kind of wiggle it off the end of the shaft until it comes off. Save that piece in case your kit didn't come with one. In this case, it came with a new one of these, a new one of these. If you have new parts, use the new parts, because what happens, especially with plastic or nylon, and even in the case of these things, taking it on and off, it'll stretch it a little bit, compromise the integrity of the part. In the case of plastic, with the heat that's generated inside a dryer, it becomes brittle. So if you have the new parts, use the new parts, don't reuse the old parts. Now, one of the reasons I went back was putting these little clips back on here can make you nuts. It just doesn't want to go on. It's really, really snug. You put it on one side, you push it on the other, it pops off the other, etc. A socket. Okay, in this case, it's the 8mm that we used for all the nuts. It fits perfectly. So you just kind of very, basically just get it just so it's sitting on the shaft, and then you can use the socket. So then what you've got is you've got even pressure and it'll push it straight over the shaft. Okay, so that's a little trick that I forgot to tell you guys. So yeah, use the 8mm socket, put it over the end of the washer, and then just push it on with even pressure all the way around, and it'll just slide right over that shaft as easy as pie, as opposed to doing the wiggle, 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 bang, 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 hurting yourself, breaking the washer, whatever. So anyway, I hope that little tidbit helped out, and the drawer's all buttoned up. I got those screws in I was telling you about. The lint trap goes in, everything works. So, hope this was helpful to you guys, and yeah, leave me some comments if it was, if there's anything I missed out or anything you can think of. Please let me know, and hopefully this worked out, and we'll send you guys another video your way to help you fix something else. Or if you have an idea of, say, hey, how do you fix this or how do you fix that? If I know, I'll see what I can do to help out. Take care, everybody.